For me, this race is actually more painful than coming 18th last year. It was tough. I was just thinking to myself, like, why now?
Fuck me.
It's something I haven't seen before, if I'm honest.
The 2025 Ironman World Championship is underway.
But this week, there's something slightly different about him. I can't tell what it is.
And on the bike, I really felt bad.
The Ironman World Championship played out a lot differently to, I think, anyone expected.
This year, I'm questioning what I have to do to beat them. Last day, trying to get the body ready. I don't feel mega confident right now.
How are you feeling?
Pretty shit. But yeah, I need to find a way. Find a way. The thoughts that were going on in my head were like, why now, you know? I mean, I got sick 10 days out before Roth, and then now here literally on race week. So the first 2 weeks went smoothly. I mean, I did some good sessions and I was kind of quietly confident that I could pull off my best race yet. But on this last week, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday, I started to come down with a little bit of a throat infection. Initially, I just thought it was the aircon, and I was just kind of convincing myself that maybe it's just a little bit of a dry throat from the aircon, but it seemed to be hanging around, and then you could see that the metrics clearly weren't going in the right direction, and that was a little bit stressful because the biggest priority was for me to show up on the start line healthy. That was tough, but people around me were just kind of in such a supportive and positive mood that I didn't let myself overanalyze it. Anything else go wrong this morning?
I think I do understand Sam super well, and he's a kind of an overthinker like I am. I'm a kind of overthinker. So we kind of think of all the different scenarios, good and bad, and so our brains tick over with all these things, which actually is really good because it means you often don't leave any sort of stone unturned. But equally, that can also make you overthink things that don't need overthinking particularly.
If I had to describe him, he'd probably be somebody who's very stressed. He doesn't particularly show it. Sometimes he does, sometimes he doesn't. He's quite complicated in his personality to see his emotions and stuff. Sometimes he brings it out, sometimes he doesn't.
Oh, fuck me.
Sam, as an athlete, can be pretty stubborn, but he is super hardworking. He thinks of everything. He is a super smart person, and yeah, that does translate into the way he approaches triathlon, which is something I haven't seen before, if I'm honest.
Given that 2 years ago I arrived 3 weeks before the race and I obviously won, I thought this year I would just do the same. My goal for them 3 weeks was really for me to just enjoy training, and so I invited 2 training partners, Scott Steenberg and Moran Vermeulen.
Hi, it's Sam Laidlow. It's 2 days to race day, and yeah, I'm pretty nervous, but feel good. I think I'll win.
Middle for pills.
Yeah, one to kind of follow me on rides and the other to come running with me. I knew that this year was going to be tough to make it to the start line, and I knew that I wasn't seeing the numbers that I was seeing before Kona last year, so it was more about just being happy and being healthy, and my big priority for the 3 weeks was just to enjoy the experience, I guess. Going at Christian Blumenfeld's marathon pace, I have to say, I think marathons would be really enjoyable if I ran them like this. Life goes by really fast. Petit, j'ai essayé plein d'autres sports, j'ai fait du judo, du handball, c'est différent. En fait, toujours t'es en train de ralentir ta récupération, donc
Sam is definitely a unique character. At the start of his career, people would perceive him as quite cocky and very confident and full of himself. I think he's toned down on that a little bit and his outside persona now, and people just understand that he is just very authentic and really not afraid to make fun of himself. He's very honest and open with his audience, and I think people really relate to him in that way. They see him as this normal guy who just has an insane ability within triathlon. Being around Sam, I don't think I've ever seen him this sort of calm and confident as I've seen him this week. He's really found the happiness that he's often been searching for off the course, and he's always said that that is what he needs to find to really unlock his performance, and he has this sort of laid back confidence that I think looks really dangerous for this weekend. Sam won the Ironman World Championship in Nice on this course in 2023. Sam has made it no secret that his dream from a young child was to win the Ironman World Championship, but specifically in Kona. And so then leading in 2024, as we headed to Kona, there was a lot of weight on Sam's shoulders, being the defending champion.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
I genuinely believe that all of us, and myself included, that he would be able to win Kona. And I think that was completely demonstrated by his performance on the bike and indeed 10K onto the run.
And the VinFast Ironman World Championship is underway.
Sam Laidlow is absolutely stringing this group out.
It is Sam Laidlow who is in and out of T1 like nobody's business.
And he just looks on form. Just seeing how aggressive he is being, that tells me that he's feeling great.
Is that Sam Laidlow is on track right now to break 4 hours for this bike course. 4 in Hawaii, I mean, with some wind.
It absolutely is unbelievable.
It's still early in the race. We're not halfway, and it looks painful.
He was in great shape in Kona, the best shape that I've ever seen him. For him to finish 18th was sort of a bit of a kick in the shins and quite painful. Sort of coming out of that, sort of having to refocus and refresh the whole concept of where we were actually going and what he actually wanted to do was difficult.
I don't think he did overbike like everybody would like to say, and he pushed himself obviously very hard to kind of finish that race.
So basically after Kona I went and had a holiday in Australia with my girlfriend, and then came back to Europe really motivated. I actually kind of carried on running all throughout that holiday to make sure that I didn't lose fitness too much. And so when I came back in December 2024, I was actually probably the fittest I'd ever been, especially running. And I think on the 2nd of January or something I got ill. Picked up kind of just a normal sickness, I would say, that you often get in the winter months. But then I just never really shaked it off. And it just kind of, I fell into this downward spiral with my health, which then led on to a downward spiral with my mental health also, I think. And so, yeah, it went from me wanting to do every race and to win every race and to really get my own back on that bad result in Kona, to suddenly me texting my manager asking if we could kind of find some deals to commentate the races instead.
When we got back in sort of January, February time, his training level was pretty bad, and he was doing sort of 1 or 2 sessions and then just literally having to stop and couldn't really do anything, go to sleep. And it was like he could not store any energy in his body at all. Some moments he would struggle even to run with me or to cycle with me, and to go from everything to nothing, he was in his best form ever, I would say. And to see he couldn't run with me and stuff like that, he would really struggle. It was very deep down for him.
I had serious doubts of whether I could make it back, and then you also just start questioning everything, because obviously I've got some amazing sponsors that support me and who believe in me, and you're wondering why they're paying you when you can't even go for a 10-minute run. So when I can't train properly, I didn't even have the motivation to do other stuff. You know, I could think, oh well, I'm not training, so I've got more time to whatever, create more merch or do more Instagram posts or more reels for sponsors. But in the end I was like, why am I doing all this when actually my priority and what makes me happy is being healthy and being able to perform at the highest level. So yeah, I'd kind of lost motivation in all walks of life really, and it was also probably very tough for the people around me.
Some tests yesterday on the blood show that is everything perfect, so happy with that. But on the urine, there is a lot of deposits, a lot. So that gives you a bit of a doubt.
At the start of the year when I was in Australia and he was still in Europe, and he would be searching for answers and calling me every few days in tears, yeah, that really was hard, and I'll get upset. But yeah, he has done everything he can to turn that around.
I remember crying on the couch, and Milan was there and saying that it would be fine and I could still race. And there's been a few moments like that this year where I've felt like, yeah, I've got a shoulder to cry on, let's say. For me, triathlon means a lot, and to be the best means a lot. And obviously this year, for the first 6 months of the year, I felt like I couldn't be the best. And so, again, luckily I was surrounded by people who did still believe in me.
He had loads and loads of tests. He was just desperate to try and find a solution, desperate to find, not a quick fix, but for somebody to say, you know, yeah, it's this. It's like, take this or do this, and it'll, you know, in 2 weeks it'll all be better and you'll be ready to go again.
Hundreds and hundreds of blood tests to try and find different areas, listened into a number of different doctors and coaches about their theories of what the actual issues were. Nobody could really see anything.
Milan, my girlfriend, was still in Australia at the time when I was going through these health struggles, and when she came back, that's probably where a small kind of switch was made, simply because I would force myself to go out and follow her. She was telling me that actually I wasn't as bad as I thought.
We both went and saw a doctor and found out we both had Epstein-Barr virus, and his levels being significantly higher than mine. We have adapted on how we have to do certain things.
Did we find out what those issues are totally where they've actually come from? We're not 100% sure, but bringing sort of Michelle and Nicola into the actual team and help from the nutrition perspective, so he can actually absorb everything he's actually eating.
And so what we had to really do for the first 5 months of the year was try and make that Epstein-Barr virus more dormant again. And there's no quick fixes for that. That's very much done by literally things like being happy, being stress-free, eating really, really well, eating really healthily.
Getting that dialed in has made sort of his performance and his training a lot more. He was starting to be able to get through sessions. 5 weeks before Roth, Sam turned round and was like, sort of, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if we can do it. From a coaching perspective, I was just literally said, I will get you there in the best shape. Just let me do my job. Let everybody else do their jobs and you just do your job. Don't try and find solutions. Don't try and find anything. Just give us feedback and how you're actually feeling. And that really helped.
Luckily, people around me kind of believed in me, and we got back into shape for Roth. We had this deal with Felix and Challenge Roth that I would be there, so we kind of just had to take it on the chin and just make sure we were there, and managed to have some magic happen then, and since then I've kind of been on an upward trajectory.
Dativ Challenge Roth is underway, and you can see Sam Laidlow in the gold cap. Significant amount of time in this last 10 kilometres. Laidlow, Challenge Roth 2025 champion.
Living with a fellow professional triathlete is it's not always easy, but it's nice to have someone that understands you, someone who understands your lifestyle. Equally, it's not easy because to be a high performance athlete, you also have to be quite selfish, and I've obviously built this environment that's very centered towards me. And Milan's had to come into this environment and still pursue her own career. And so for me, it's taught me a lot. It's taught me that I also get joy out of trying to help her. I want her to succeed, but as selfish as it sounds, I want me to succeed even more. And I think this year, as a whole, she's taught me to be a better person.
I was not expecting you there.
Without even wanting it, just subconsciously, I think being with such a kind human has forced me to be kinder. And actually, I've realised this year that as an athlete, I haven't grown that much just because of the health struggles and what I had to go through. It didn't leave me time to improve as an athlete. But as a human, I definitely feel like I've grown this year, yeah, for many reasons. Tuesday, I did a run in the afternoon, just a very easy run, and I felt really, really bad. I think that's when I was starting to feel a little bit weird. I went running with Milan, and she had some reps to do at like 4-minute K pace, which is slower than my Ironman pace, and I couldn't even do one. So I had to just walk home. I feel like I dealt with that really well. Just a few years ago, I would have completely gone into despair and cried in my room probably. But yeah, I just think I got on with it. You know, there's good days, bad days, and yeah, I just tell myself that it's fine. I'll feel good on Sunday.
I'm like 99% sure he had all the measuring stuff out and everything.
We had this project of making the bike a lot lighter than my bike from 2 years ago, and yeah, it was 1.7 kilos lighter. I think with the whole system, with helmets and shoes, was 2 kilos lighter, so it was yeah, it was a really cool project, and trying the bike out, I mean, I immediately felt the difference.
The bike course here is super technical. This race here in Nice, as an actual Ironman World Championships, it's a very fair, let's say, bike course. It's very hard, very technical, and you've got to be strong on the bike to be able to do well on this course.
So the Ironman World Championship is the biggest race in triathlon, and the course in Nice is one of the hardest in the world. You've got a beautiful swim in the Mediterranean, but then followed by an absolutely savage bike course with so much elevation and climbing and technical descending, and then a scorching hot run on the Promenade des Anglais. The Ironman World Championship has always taken place in Kona. Ironman made the decision a couple of years ago to split the World Championship between Nice and Kona. Since then, the men have been in a different location to the women, and from 2026 we'll be returning to Kona. So this is actually the last time that the Ironman World Championships will be happening in Nice.
Magnus?
No looking at this bike. Only picture.
Now we've got
what is that?
59.5 exactly.
Okay. Just check on the right and left.
Try it again.
If we do the level, we have to put it both on the. We have to put them both on the same stand or off the. I think the level is better like this. Yeah. So if we do this.
This one.
So Wednesday, I did that bike in the morning, and in the afternoon I went to the pool and did a swim. I actually felt weirdly good on that swim. Confidence levels were back up. I did 200 meter like builds, and I was coming in on like under 215 in a big pool, so I really felt strong and relaxed, and yeah, that was positive. That whole week though is really busy with like sponsorship commitments and stuff, and meet and greets with the fans. So it's a compromise to find something that I enjoy doing. I enjoy meeting the fans and trying to grow the sport a little bit, you know. Obviously, there's not that many days a year where that many triathlon fans get together, and they don't have that many opportunities to to see the top level athletes, and so for me it's really, really great to see the sport evolving and growing like that.
The media side of it can be pretty overpowering. Ronnie, his manager, has done a very, very good job of sort of controlling and processing when he has his media stuff, and so he's kept it down into small segments. So he's like done an hour here or 2 hours there.
We think there's going to be no suit. The water's quite high at the moment. It's about between 24 and 25 degrees. So we presume there's going to be no suit. If there's a cold, if the rain comes down, then it might drop the temperature. But it needs to drop down by quite a bit to get a suit. So I'm 95% sure there's going to be no suit. This swim is just to get his arms moving, just relax, get his sighting points for the race. He's been a little bit under the weather his last few days. I'm not going to lie about that. He seems to be fighting some sort of cold, shall we say. But hopefully we're doing everything so he'll be 100% ready for race day. So yeah, some of the stats are a little bit better. He had a bad night's sleep last night, but hopefully everything will be all right come race day. So we've got another 48 hours really before the race itself.
Friday, just a very, very easy swim. That was the day where I felt really bad, but equally Friday is normally the day where I don't do too much.
European Championship titles is none other than Norway's Christian Blumenfeld and Norway's Gustav Ida. Please give a warm welcome to France's Sam Laidlow.
I think it's the guy to my left, Sam. Like he was the one who was making the race in Kona last year. He was putting pressure on everyone until
On le voit dans la conférence de presse ce matin, hein, tout le monde est bien conscient qu'il y aura une personne à surveiller sur le vélo à Nice. Et si on le surveille, c'est qu'on sait que derrière, il peut courir vite. Donc quand on a la trempe de Sam, c'est aussi de savoir se reconstruire, faire un pas en arrière, remettre le repos, le calme. Vous pouvez se dire, voilà, il fait peut-être un break sur 2025, mais quand il a couru Roth et puis ensuite Leeds, je pense qu'il a fait les bons choix, il s'est ressourcé. Et souvent, quand on est ressourcé, ben, voilà, on brille. Hein, voilà, donc ce que je lui souhaite.
People, especially the pros around him, sort of look to him in the press conferences and things and look at how confident he may be feeling and try and judge what his attitude is, but he's very, very hard to read in that sense. I feel like every time I've seen Sam pre-race, he looks a similar way, but this week there's something slightly different about him. I can't tell what it is. In this race, we have 4 previous Ironman World Champions. They are Patrick Lange, who won in 2024, Sam Laidlow, who won in Nice in 2023, and then you have the 2 Norwegians, Gustav Iden and Christian Blumenfeld. Gustav won in Kona and Christian won in St. George. You've got these 4 players who have already proved themselves to be Ironman World Championship, desperate looking for another one. They seem to say it every year that this is the strongest field we've ever had, but this time it truly feels that way. With 55 pro men racing, the depth is incredible, and there really is sort of 10 people who could win this race and about 30 who could finish in the top 10. So it's going to be an extremely interesting day.
And then on Saturday, I did my kind of normal brick session that I always do the day before a race, just like a 1 hour bike into a 20-minute run. And on the bike, I really felt bad. My heart rate was so high compared to my normal watts, and I was struggling to breathe. The 20-minute run afterwards was actually okay compared to the ride, and that whole week I was just trying to almost lie to myself and just kind of get on with it, focus on what I had to do and get my stuff ready.
Actually, just in the back one does it a little bit as well.
Okay.
So I don't know if it's...
I will...
Is it clean? Is it just
yeah. Just a little bit of the cleaning or stuff like this.
What else was I going to say? Yeah, could we move these again just a tiny bit more back?
More back?
Yeah, just
okay.
like maybe 1 centimeter.
Okay.
To be sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes
then
the
completely to the back then. See, you see this there? That's maybe a centimeter. Okay.
The JP from Suicide tell us the pressure to put for this course? Maybe could you ask him?
Yeah, of course. Of course.
Awesome. Cheers, mate. See you in a few hours.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe in Roth how long it took him.
It
took him the whole day. He sat down for like 15 minutes. He was like faffing around. Well, not faffing around, but...
That's because I haven't raced in a long time.
Yeah.
I'm going to be quicker this time.
Huh?
I'm going to be quicker this time.
Okay.
The day before the race, I'm mostly just getting my nutrition ready, my bottles, hydration. Obviously had the help of Ministry and Red Bull. We have some knowledge there, and this year it's been working quite well, so we stuck with a very similar plan. And then putting stickers on bikes, putting elastics on shoes and shoes in bags and talc on shoes and a load of small stuff that if you've ever done a triathlon, obviously you'd know about, but it feels like you're getting ready to go to war really, and trying to get an early night.
That's your rice and banana. That's half is fine, but try and eat all of that, but slightly earlier. The 1 kiwi, magic kiwi, very important, magic kiwi. But yeah, you only need to have like a couple of portions of that rice. Let's stop at this.
My mum, Michelle, she is what we call the rock of our family. She's the one who keeps us all happy, no matter kind of what storm is going on outside. She's kept the family entity strong and sturdy together. That's really her strength. But more recently, this year, she's helped a lot with my nutrition, and that's been a new way of working this year, and seems to be working well. I think it was just after the kind of Epstein Barr reactivation that I had at the start of the year. We really had to look into my diet a lot more.
Yeah, since kind of January, I've had a much deeper dive into the whole nutritional aspect with Sam, with an amazing Irish, great friend of the family called Nicola Forrest, who works in out of Ireland. And so we're very kind of concerned about exactly how many grams of carbohydrates he eats and how many grams of protein he eats. Here, kind of in Nice, I've taken on an extra role, really. Sam asked me to come in and kind of cook for like the gang, which is a group of 7 of us. So kind of cooking for everybody at lunch and dinner, and making sure everybody's kind of fed properly. And then Sam's obviously fed very specifically for his particular dietary needs.
The last supper before my 4th Ironman World Championship, but yeah, this one's definitely special, the last one in Nice. And yeah, I feel like even though I'm not technically the defending champion, there is like there is a bit of pressure because I won here last time, obviously. But yeah, haven't had the smoothest of weeks, but I've sometimes had good results off the back of not expecting it. So let's just see what happens tomorrow. I'm just very grateful to be on this start line. Just a few months ago, or even when we started filming, to be fair, we definitely didn't think I would make it to Nice. First video we did together, I was shitting in a pot, bringing it to the laboratory.
Just picked up my spoon so I can scoop my shit.
So yeah, it's been a good journey since, and yeah, hope to put the cherry on the cake tomorrow. Most race mornings so far in my career, especially World Championships, I've always woke up feeling like so hungry to go, and like I was ready to kind of eat everyone up. For some reason I wasn't really like that on race day.
In the morning, seeing Sam prepare in transition, he seemed calm, he seemed collected, he seemed ready to carry out the race that he wanted to deliver.
In that moment, I don't really think about too much or overanalyze stuff. I just try and focus on the present moment, making sure I do everything right, whether it's making sure I hydrate well in the lead up, fuel well. Standing on the start line, obviously feel super grateful to be there. Racing World Championships was a dream of mine as a kid and still is, so I need to not take that for granted.
But after the swim started, something very unusual happened.
The 2025 Ironman World Championship is underway with an entire group of men strung out side to side from buoy to buoy.
Yeah, I just counted swimmers while you were chatting there, and I count Sam Laidlow as 7th.
The blue cap and the red and white sleeves, great position. The athlete that's lost his cap, and Jamie Riddle there with the South African flag on his sleeves and the yellow cap.
We saw a strong front group of swimmers, and I was asking some of my colleagues who were watching the live stream, where is Sam in the group? He's wearing a green hat. Where is he? We couldn't see him in the front group, which is, first of all, some alarm bells were ringing.
I was on Jamie Riddle's feet. I think I'm like 3rd or 4th in line, and slowly I can feel them fighting the water a bit. My body doesn't feel very relaxed. Kind of just got worse and worse. After like 500, 600 meters, both of my hip flexors were just so tight, so it felt like I was swimming like this instead of swimming flat. At first I was just like, it's fine, it will pass, and then it got worse and I was struggling to hold on to that front pack.
Big news down here in the last 2 minutes. We saw Sam Laidlow, who was in about 8th or 9th spot on Antonio Benito Lopez's feet and came to a dead stop for about, I don't know, 30 to 60 seconds.
They like started cramping more and more. It's not something I've had before, and it was tough. I was just thinking to myself, like, why now? Why after all the struggles I've been through this year am I having this issue now? Normally the swim feels really comfortable for me. I've never had an issue. I don't think I've ever come out of the water like outside of top 5 in a World Championship. I pretty much did stop, looked at the boat, saw another pack coming behind me as I was doing kind of backstroke, and I realised there was Christian Hogenhau, who's a very good cyclist and who had a good day in Frankfurt. I kind of saw him and told myself, well, he's also having a bad day swimming, so we can work together on the bike. I was actually very thankful to him for him coming along and dragging me around, because I really just couldn't wait to get out of the water.
That's impressive. These guys well below that, 2.5 minutes below that by the time they come under that Ironman arch, indicating the end of the Roka swim course. But here we go, solid ground for Salzburg first, and now powering up the hill, taking off the swim skin.
The main thing I thought about at that moment when I was stopping on the swim was the people that had come to watch me. I had really good friends that hadn't come to watch me before. One of my first ever triathlon coaches who made like 6-hour drive to come and watch me, and I really thought about them and just tell myself that there's no way I'm not giving absolutely everything I've got today, and I'd promised them via message that I would fight.
And there is Sam Laidlow, way beyond where he would normally be.
Look at Sam Laidlow's body language. I see absolutely no intent in him whatsoever.
Well, he's dejected.
As I came out of the water, I think I probably had the slowest transition out of everyone. I lost many places and just got on the bike, and yeah, the first 40K were a real struggle, simply because my hip flexors were still cramping and tight. When I have good days on the bike, I really feel so fluid. I just didn't feel that efficient. I felt like I was just only pressing on the pedals and not like bringing the pedals round smoothly.
So Sam was leaving transition with roughly a deficit of about 2 minutes 40, which is not something that he's used to, so he was straight away on the chase. As soon as Sam hit the climbs, we could see that he was really working hard. There was sweat dripping from his face, you could see clearly on the broadcast. And also when you were looking at the tracker, you could see that Sam was quite clearly the fastest moving athlete.
I'd written on my handlebars the splits that it took me to win last time, so that I had checkpoints on the course that I'd kind of memorized and written down. I realized that I was going very slightly faster than what I was going 2 years ago. At that stage, I just had to tell myself that it wasn't going to be the day I dreamt of, but I'm still going faster than 2 years ago, and who knows what will happen. It can be a long day.
Quite a move by Sam Laidlow, and he's back.
He has done an exceptional job of just getting out and staying away. This man, Sam Laidlow, still gunning for him, though.
I think I was 29th or something out of transition. Slowly made my way back. I think it took me about an hour to get to the big group of Christian and Casper and Gustav and Magnus. And there was literally, I don't know, like 15 guys all in the line, just waiting for the race to unfold. And meanwhile, there was Jonas and Jamie and Martin up front, pushing the pace, trying to get as much lead as possible. And so, yeah, I had to go from the back of this line all the way to the front. And obviously I can't slot in. It took me about like 6 minutes at whatever, like 450 watts to get up to the front of the pack, and then I had to make my move. So I definitely think I burnt a few matches there. At this point, I was just trying to make the race hard, make the bike hard, because that was all I could do. And there was a small part of me which was just happy to make it back to the front of the race, you know, given how I was feeling in the swim. I'd been on the front putting the pressure on for a solid hour and a half. I brought the time gap from like 2 minutes 50 down to 50 seconds to the front. And then I decided to let them pass and recover a bit from that effort. Then suddenly again we lost so much time. I think the gap went back up to like 2 minutes almost instantly. It's a shame that they didn't want to work to get back to the front, but I can't blame them, you know, the Norwegians are the best runners, and so they didn't feel the need to push the bike.
The top three men right there in front of us, Martin van Riel, Sam Laidlow, and Christian Blumenfeld. That's the order of events right now on the road. And then as you pointed out, Didi, Eden, Thompson, Stornes, all.
It was only Christian that followed me. Again, very difficult to shake someone because I had the motorbike obviously filming me from the side, and Christian's 12 meters behind me and the motorbike, and he's following the rules. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing, but I honestly don't think that if we are both riding separately, he could have followed me in that section.
But then along the promenade section on the front, the group of Nick Thompson, Gustav Iden and Kasper Stornes managed to make contact again with the group, and we had a group of 6 coming into the transition together. They were Sam Laidlow, Gustav Iden, Christian Blumenfeld, Kasper Stornes, Martin van Riel and Nick Thompson.
Here we have, and look, you can see that you've got Van Riel, then Laidlow, then Nick Thompson first and taking a seat as Laidlow is in, Nick Thompson is in, and then the 3 Norwegians lockstep together. And this is Van Riel just looking to the side, seeing who's coming.
In and out of transition, we had Martin van Riel and Sam Laidlow hitting the run course first together, and we could see them quite clearly having some words together. And deciding to stick to a pace that felt good to them at the start of the marathon, ultimately knowing that the Norwegians would be catching up to their group at some point.
Getting to run along the promenade in first place again, that was probably the highlight of my day, with the crowds going wild for me and the crowds believing that maybe I could make something happen. That was really, really special.
And then we saw something we've never seen before in an Ironman World Championship. Looked incredible on the broadcast, looked incredible on the road. We saw 5 of the world's best Ironman athletes running side by side, shoulder to shoulder, down the Promenade des Anglais. It was a sight to behold, and something that will go down in the history of Ironman World Championships.
The Norwegians were with us. There was a group of 5, and it was very special, you know, to be in that for a little while. I mean, it's not something you see every day at World Championship. In fact, something they've never seen before. There was the Norwegian hype train, Martin and me. Yeah, the first 15K felt great. After about 10K, Gustav put in a move and started running kind of sub 3:30 per K paces. I followed for a bit and then decided that it was too much for me and that all I could do was just run kind of 3:34, 3:35 per K and hope that they would blow up.
And then one by one, there were people dropping from the group. We could see at the start of the second lap, Gustav Iden and Christian Blumenfeld really started to turn the screw on the group and sort of made some separation. But then we saw Kasper catch up to the front 2, and then we had the 3 of them running together for a little bit.
I always run my marathons on heart rate basically, and I just ran at my heart rate at the kind of upper level of what I thought I could. I did like 25K at about 3:35 per K pace, which is, for me, would have been by far my marathon PB. It was around about kilometre 25 where I realised that my body started kind of shutting down, and I ran out of carbs, which is a little bit strange in the last 15k, and I went from quite comfortably in fourth to suddenly Martin overtaking me again and me just trying to hold on to not come 6th or 7th or 8th. So it was really tough. The last 15k obviously was running like 4:15s, 4:20 per k, and my heart rate was like way down, 125, 130, just because my body had run out completely of carbs. So
back to the front of the race, we saw Casper then really make his move as he seemed to one by one break Gustav Iden and then break Christian Blumenfeld and really put some over a minute in before starting the final lap. No one really expected to see Casper running away from it. We heard that before the race that the Norwegians were saying Casper is running better than anyone else, but we all just assumed it was mind games from the Norwegian hype train, as we call them. But no, they were telling the truth, and Casper really was running the best. And to run a 2:29 after 180 kilometers in the mountains is extremely impressive.
Home with the Norwegian flag proudly draped on his shoulders. Today, our 2025 Ironman World Champion is Casper Stornes from Norway.
But Sam really struggled towards the end of the run. We saw him be caught by Martin van Riel, who was going really strong. Sam didn't give up. Sam resides in his fate and falling backwards to the field. He really hung on, which is something that he can only be proud of.
When I finally made it to the finish line in 5th place, it was mixed emotions. I think the first feeling I got was just obviously just realising that the race was won like 13 minutes up the road or 14 minutes up the road, so big difference there. I was just very sad that I didn't perform to the level that I'd performed in my previous 2 races, even though I was fitter. It really stings to have your last opportunity to race a home World Championships, and to be that far off the win is really tough, I guess. So for me, this race is actually more painful than coming 18th last year. When I came 18th last year, I walked away from that race thinking that I should have won that race. And this year, I'm like questioning what I have to do to beat them. Seeing the Norwegians perform has also made me realise how important the environment you're in is. Me and Arthur, when we were training together, just us two, we really had a great environment and we made very hard sessions easy, and we enjoyed it. He hasn't had the easiest year, so we're going to have to make sure we help each other and get our own back on Kona, given that he DNF'd last time and I came 18th. So we're going to go back to Kona and put things straight. We had a lovely dinner with my whole team after the race. And that is also important, obviously. They're moments that you cherish and keep forever, and the whole team's invested a lot into this project, and so I'm really grateful for that. It's not just a team of random people that are supporting me, it's people that I can call friends and people that are really invested and that want it almost just as much as me. So yeah, that dinner was a really enjoyable moment, but the kind of obsessed high performance athlete within me is really not satisfied and really frustrated after that result. I'm deeply in love with triathlon, I think probably more than most people. It doesn't mean I only have triathlon in my life, but I'm willing to devote my life to this sport. It's a sport that teaches you so much. I think it's taught me so much as a human, more than any other job could have ever done. So, I mean, I just want to try and be the best that I can be and go through the highs and lows that involves. Promote sport and health in general. If it's not triathlon necessarily, just focusing on having that discipline to be healthy and to go out for a run or go and whatever, play tennis with your mates or something. I think it's something that's really, really important. There's so many people now that are just sat behind their phones and don't know what to do with their lives, but just having mini goals, and it doesn't have to be winning a world title, it could just be finishing your first mini triathlon. Most people that do that realise that their whole life actually does get better from just forcing themselves to commit to a goal, making sure them goals are bigger and bigger, and then before you know it, you're achieving big things. So yeah, if I can inspire people to do that in one way or another, that's great.
For France, your fifth place, Sam Laidlow.
I think I'm one of the only few guys that does believe he can be the best. Oh man, I'm really done with this promenade right now. I hadn't seen it since yesterday. I'm not scared of saying that I do want to go to Kona next year and win it, and that's literally the first thing I did when I came back into my hotel room after the race. I got the note that there normally is next to the bedside table and wrote a contract that says I will win Kona 2026.
Was it filming?
Is it filming?
Yeah.
Yeah, that post-race kebab was like coming fifth at a World Championships. You know, it was not excellent, not terrible. It did the job. It did the job.